What's going on, everybody? Good late morning. Hope you guys are doing well. And we're going to jump right back into the free agency options for the Seahawks. And we were not done with linebackers yesterday, so we're going to do more linebackers today. And we're going to get through all of them by the end of the day. And when I say all of them, I don't literally mean every single possible option. Linebacker is one of those positions where there are so many candidates to sign and so many of them blend together that if I tried to talk about every single one, it would probably take like half a week. And by the end of it, nobody would be interested. We're already at the point where people are starting to lose interest because you can only talk about one thing so much before it just kind of becomes in one ear out the other. So this is going to be the last video where we talk about guys that would cost non-trivial amounts of money to sign. These would be guys that you would at least consider giving a multi-year deal. These are guys that you would pay like either a low-end starter or a very high-end backup. So that's what we're dealing with in this video. The last three guys that I would consider to be of that group where they are probably going to be okay, but it wouldn't be right to really expect much more than that. And these three guys all have one kind of unifying quality about them, which is that they are all players that for the first several years of their career were depth pieces. They were reserves. They were part-time players. They didn't really start. And then in the final year of their deals or their first year of their 1-year extension after the rookie deal or whatever, they were granted the opportunity to start a decent amount of games and they played decently well. So you're hoping that they can keep improving. You're hoping that they can take on the load of a full season of starts after already having a season of starts. You're just hoping that everything comes together in the right way so that you can get a decent player. So it is a gamble, but the price is going to be cheaper than a lot of the other guys we've talked about. So first guy in this video is going to be Grant Stuard. Grant Stuard of the Indianapolis Colts was drafted by Tampa Bay. He was very close to Mr. Irrelevant in 2021, actually. Very close to that Brock Purdy range. And he only spent 1 year in Tampa, didn't play a lot. Went to Indy, didn't play a lot. And then 2024, he got to start 5 games, and he got some attention. He turned some heads. I'm not going to go over the top crazy with it, but he looked like a pretty decent player. So Grant Stuard, Pro Football Focus gave him a good grade for 2024. It wasn't a lot of snaps, but this is a guy who is now kind of being looked at as, hey, maybe he'll take the next step up to be a full-time starter. The Spotrac market value page goes 2 years, $8 million, so they do have a multi-year deal. It is a little bit intimidating for a guy with this lack of experience. We're talking about a guy who has 5 career starts and excuse me, a career high in tackles is 40. He's got 0 career passes defensed, which is, I mean, that's 66 games. I know in most of those games he barely played. He was a special teamer, but still, you are kind of betting on the come here in a way that most teams would not. But there's something going on here that is likable. He's about to turn, well, he's going to turn 27 in October, so his physical prime and mental prime should be crossing over right about now. So there's some wisdom here. It is a gamble, but it's a gamble that's a lot cheaper than some of the other options. So Grant Stuard, that's a guy you sign if you want to have a cheap starter or if you want to have an expensive backup. Just depends. Next guy, Akeem Davis-Gaither. Akeem Davis-Gaither. So Cincinnati Bengal, 4th round pick several years ago. Has played 5 years with the Bengals, but the first 4 years of his career, he was a part-time player. He was a reserve. He was somebody who came on occasionally. He did play some, but he didn't play a lot. This last year was the first time in his career that he actually started more than 2 games in a season. Started 7, and he played pretty well, 82 tackles. I mean, that's something. So there's a little bit of intrigue here, a little bit of excitement that maybe this guy can ascend to being a full-time starter in 2025, and maybe he'll find his home somewhere else other than the Bengals. Pro Football Focus was tepid, but not bad. 59 grade, little below average, but not bad or anything like that. 535 snaps, pretty decent sample size. So he seems workable. But again, when you're talking about a player like Akeem Gaither, he turned 27 in September. So he should be in that physical prime crossing over with mental prime phase of his career. 28, 29, 30. They say it starts at 27, and he turned 27 early in the season last year. So theoretically, we should be there. But again, you are betting on him improving, and you are betting on him being able to take on a full workload. And those are two things that you don't really have any evidence of happening yet. Spotrac does have a value page for him. It is a 1-year deal. So this is one of the guys that they consider to be not worthy of multi-year money. But they do give him $3.6 million per. So that's not cheap. You don't expect special teams only out of a guy like this. So if you give him the 1 year 3.6, maybe you're not expecting him to be a full-time starter, but you're expecting him to be a really good backup who plays situationally, and in the event of an injury or some kind of other absence, is able to step in and play at a high level for a backup. So you're expecting something out of this guy. And for me personally, I'm a little bit more tepid on this one, I think. I think Grant Stuard was a little bit more appealing. But again, the price is right. I don't think he's not worth this money. But you're gambling on a pretty small sample size. Last guy we're going to look at in this video is Justin Strnad. It's not Strand or Stand, it's Strnad. Justin Strnad of the Broncos, 5th round pick in 2020. Strnad has had a mostly reserve role in his career. 2022, 2023, he barely played. Did start 5 games in 2021, and he started 8 in 2024. So that was the first year he really got anything close to a full workload, and then he played pretty well. He was part of a very good Denver defense, one of the better in the league. So he was doing something right. I know that the numbers don't necessarily pop off the screen, but something's going right here with Strnad. Pro Football Focus didn't love him. They ranked him closer to the bottom than the top by a pretty good margin, 55.5, well below average on 676 snaps. So you know you're not going to get anything great here, but it does seem like you can get something pretty decent. Now, he is going to turn 29 before the season starts, so I don't think there's much belief that, oh, this guy's going to ascend to a higher level. He probably is what he is at this point, but what he is someone who is adequate. And if you believe that your coach is some kind of linebacker whisperer, like many Seahawks fans do about McDonald, maybe you look at Strnad and you say, hey, that's a guy that I want to bring onto my team. That's a guy that I think McDonald can get mountains out of, despite him being a molehill. And that's how you make business decisions sometimes in the NFL. You can't spend big at every spot. Spotrac does give him a multi-year deal, but only $3.2 million per. It's 2 years, $6.4 million. Pretty reasonable, pretty fair. I think that's probably about right. I might be more interested in doing that than even Grant Stuard personally. It is a significant, well, not huge, but it is significantly cheaper. And you're getting a guy who I think has shown a little bit more of a propensity for being a decent player. I know Pro Football Focus wasn't a fan, but when you look at what he was a part of in Denver, I think that it's notable. So those would be those 3 guys. Nothing terribly exciting, but you're going to get what you pay for, I think. I think these guys are going to be okay. You signed them to be part-time starters, really good depth, or low-end full-time starters. Just depends on how you look at them, what your need is. Like, if you signed a guy like Justin Strnad, I would still say you might want to sign Ernest Jones to the extension and have Strnad be like the first linebacker off the bench. You know that one of your 2 linebackers is going to get hurt and miss some games, so Strnad can be the first man up. Maybe he'll start 5 or 6 games across the season. I wouldn't love it if I heard that a guy like Grant Stuard or Justin Strnad was being brought on as the starter. I'd at least in that scenario say draft a blue chip or close to blue chip rookie give yourself a chance to supplant him before the season starts or very early in the season. So those would be my 3 guys in this category, and in my estimation, that is kind of it for off-ball linebackers that are better than backup status. Everybody we've gone through so far over the last, 6 videos? Yes, I think it's 6 videos. That's everybody who is out there that you could go get, that you could reasonably expect to start in 2025. So we'll do a couple more videos about depth guys, but we'll get through that quickly. I know that's not going to be super compelling, so I'm just going to get through it, say the names, briefly just touch on it, and then move on. Let me know what you guys think about these 3 guys, though. I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks.